What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Top 5 Scary Videos. With thousands of SCPs, it's easy to get lost while going through them. So today we're bringing you more of our personal favorites, and as you probably guessed by the title, they aren't exactly the most calming of SCPs. So without further ado, I'm Taylor McWaters, and here are our top 5 SCP monsters you can't escape, part 3. Kicking off the list at number 5, we have SCP-106. And it appears to be an elderly humanoid with a general appearance that looks like they're decomposing, kind of like they're dying. Nice creepy look, you know? This appearance may change from time to time, but the rotting look applies always. That's like a guaranteed thing. SCP-106 is, of course, not very agile and will remain motionless for days at a time, waiting for, of course, its prey. SCP-106 is also capable of scaling any vertical surface and can remain suspended upside down indefinitely, like Batman, only horrible and frightening. When attacking, SCP-106 will attempt to incapacitate prey by damaging major organs like muscle groups, tendons, and if that doesn't sound bad enough, SCP-106 will then pull you, after all of that, it's going to pull you into its pocket dimension, which is just a lovely way to go after getting your neck bitten. SCP-106 prefers human prey who are in the age range from 10 to 25 years old. I'm 26 now, so I think we're good. I think we're golden. SCP-106 causes a corrosion effect in anything that it touches, engaging a physical breakdown in materials just seconds after contact. So it begins rusting, rotting, or cracking anything really. And while it's doing that, it creates this black mucus-like substance that leaks all over it. It's very similar to the material that covers it and leaks around it. They don't know what it is, but it's just gooey, it's gross. And it's assumed to be this pre-digestion action almost. You know, gotta heat your food up before you eat it, you gotta cover yourself up in slime before you bite people's arms. I get it. Corrosion continues for 6 hours after contact. After that, it seems to burn out. That's a long time for your skin to melt off. I feel like if I stand in the sun for 45 minutes, I'm tapped out. I'm way too pale to enjoy sunlight, no way. SCP-106 is capable of passing through solid matter, leaving behind that corrosive mucus, of course. Which way did he go? That way, for sure, definitely that way. Let's go this way. SCP-106 is able to vanish inside solid matter, entering what is assumed to be a form of that pocket dimension that I was telling you about earlier. So SCP-106 is then able to exit this dimension from any point connected to the initial entry point. So if it enters a wall over here, it can come out of the ceiling over there. No physical interaction with SCP-106, period. That's the rule. It's to be concealed in a container made of lead-lined steel. The container will then be sealed within 40 layers of an identical material, each layer separated no less by 36 centimeters of empty space. That's a lot of layers and a lot of space. That's good. Keep it that way. Let's add some more if we need to. Support struts between layers are to be randomly spaced, and on top of that, there's 24-hour surveillance. And before we continue, guys, if you haven't already, please go ahead and toss us a thumbs up on our video because it helps us out quite a bit here at our hidden facility. Thank you so much. Okay, now back to the list. And number 4, we have SCP-966. SCP-966 are predatory creatures that, of course, resembles human beings, but are hairless and have an elongated face with a mouth full of these needle-like teeth. So that's just lovely. And on each of their hands, they have 5 sharp claws that can grow up to 20 centimeters long, like Freddy Krueger style, you know? SCP-966 height is around 1.5 meters, and they can weigh up to 30 kilograms. They don't rest by hitting the hay and sleeping 8 hours, no. Instead, they will suddenly cease all movement at these random intervals throughout the day, and then resuming normal activity 3 to 5 minutes later. So basically what I do every time I clean my room, you know, I just stop and do nothing for minutes at a time. SCP-966 feeds on medium to large size animals, and of course, also humans. Sorry. They either hunt by themselves or in pairs, and their hunting methods consist of emitting single bursts of this wave. And this wave permanently inhibits the ability of the affected creature to enter any of the REM sleep stages. So the ability to microsleep is also lost, so no more nap time. Sorry guys. Sorry anybody named Becky. I don't know who naps. What's a napping name? I don't know. The effective range of the waves is up to 20 meters. However, tests show that they can be blocked by certain materials, most commonly that being lead. All attempts to make victims of SCP-966 sleep have failed, so counting sheep is not an option. After depriving their victims of sleep, SCP-966 will stalk them until a lack of rest kills them, basically. Now at this point, SCP-966 will proceed to consume it. SCP-966 are very agile and silent when they're stalking their victims, and they'll actually deliberately make threatening noises around the prey in order to stress it out more, and may even physically assault it if the victim proves to be durable enough. So, good luck. And coming in at number 3, SCP-017 is also, of course, a creepy human-like figure. This time it's approximately 80 centimeters in height, similar to a small child, which is so comforting. But with no identifying features, right? So it looks like this small little ball of shadow, almost. And if anybody watching has floaters in your eyes like I do, it's kind of like a large floater. It's just there. No attempt to find out what's beneath this shroud has been successful, but the possibility has not been ruled out, okay? So its containment is a glass cage, 100 centimeters by 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters, suspended in a concrete room, measuring by 6 meters by 6 meters by 4 meters. And attached to the walls of the room and the ceiling and even the floor are these high intensity spotlights pointed directly at this cage, so that it's constantly exposed to light from literally every angle. Personnel assigned to SCP-017's control room are to monitor the spotlights at the emergency generator system and call for maintenance immediately if any of the light bulbs go out or if there's any issue with the generator. The only circumstance in which anybody can enter the containment area is to replace the light bulbs. How many people does it take to replace the light bulb? Not me. I'm not going in there. No chance. You can do it. Personnel entering the room are required to wear body reflective suits, nice, and cannot step in front of the lights, or else you would become a human disco ball. But more importantly, you would, of course, cut light off from SCP-017. So what happens now? Well, SCP-017's reaction to shadows cast upon it is very fast and very frightening. If there's any shadow cast upon it, SCP-017 leaps at whatever's casting the shadow and completely encloses it in its shroud, where it returns to its normal size, leaving no trace of you behind. It's kind of like Pac-Man, just gobbles you up and then you're gone. You don't exist anymore. So when it comes to this Keter class SCP, you for sure want to sleep with the lights on. Absolutely. And number 2. This one's a little different because it's not like a physical thing and it's not a creepy humanoid for a change, which is nice. But if you're affected, there's no way of permanently escaping it, and it is just a nightmare, okay? So SCP-2571 is a childhood memory of a theme park that doesn't exist. So if the name Cragglewood Park means anything to you, sorry in advance, you might want to close this video right now. The odds are low, but still very real. So around 0.5% of the world's population is affected by SCP-2571. However, recent evidence suggests that this number may be growing. The reason for the spreading of all these false memories is still unknown, but it's most commonly among adults who are raised as an only child. I feel like a good portion of viewers just sat up as soon as I said that. I'm not even an only child, and this SCP still sends chills down my spine. Afflicted subjects are initially responsive to anesthetics, but memories regarding Cragglewood Park will usually come back after their treatment ends, so it's not going anywhere. Although descriptions of these memories change from time to time, there are still several details that will remain consistent. And those details go as the following. Subjects were between the age of 4 and 12 when they visited, okay? That's a big window, so, The park featured numerous characters, primarily centered around trees and plants. There's no adult supervision, which is exactly what you want in a theme park, and Calliope music played throughout the entire place. You know, that classic carnival music? Sounds like any park in Roller Coaster Tycoon. Subjects attended the park with numerous other children, but none of which who they knew. The park featured only one ride, and that was a carousel, or a merry-go-round, if you say merry-go-round still. So not only is this a pretty boring park filled with kids, but I mean, the one ride is a carousel. I mean, throw a drop tower or two in there, keep it fresh. Then maybe it'll be more memorable. I don't know. This is actually terrifying. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Like, I've heard of certain TV shows that kids can remember, but they never existed. So if anything like this has happened in general, comment below, because those stories always creep me the hell out. I love reading them. While I eat cereal, I read creepy stories. And finally, number 1, we have SCP-2935. The entrance has been sealed off with concrete and access is forbidden, and that's for good reason. Okay, so SCP-2935 is a space-time anomaly in a cave beneath a cemetery in Indiana. Nothing good is ever near cemeteries. Can we all just stay away from them? They've had their life, they're dead, let them be dead. The cemetery was discovered by Foundation personnel after radio signals were discovered from within the cave. So the SCP-2935 anomaly is a nearly exact replica of modern Earth, but in the year 2016, with the only difference being that all life, as well as any sentient life like machines, computers, all that jazz, all life within SCP-2935 ended on April 20th, 2016. So on 420 of all days too, there you go. Information gathered by the Mobile Task Force who initially entered SCP-2935 all confirms that the life forms suddenly and without warning just disappeared. Kind of like Thanos, but worse. This is one of those caves you should never enter. I mean, going back to 2016 sounds great and all, especially right now, but a world without Mario Kart or Siri? What about Siri? She's so helpful. God, no chance. That would be so boring. We'd get lost all the time. No life, no fun. That's the way I say it. So on April 28th, 2016, a radio signal was detected near Bloomington, Indiana. This signal was traced to Joppa, Indiana, near US Interstate 70. So Site 81 personnel in Indianapolis were sent out to determine the source of the signal as per Foundation policy, and discovered SCP-2935 during their examination of the area. And the first time they discovered it, they didn't even know that they had discovered it. How nuts is that? They just sent a drone in and thought that it had left the other side of the cave. That's how fast it happens, folks. Keep your eyes open. Don't go in any caves, especially if you hear carnival music. Just get out of there. Well, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Which of your favorite SCPs did we miss? Let us know down below so we can check them out. I'm Taylor McWaters, and as always, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.